What's going on, YouTube? Today it is Wednesday, November 12th. So tonight we are doing our UFC 309 predictions, bets, and breakdowns. We're going to be starting from the very beginning, the early prelims, to the very end, the main card. So before we start everything, I'm just going to let you guys know there were some cancellations within the card. There was Anthony Smith, Dominic Reyes. That was canceled. Prelims as well. Who else do we have? David Onama versus Lucas Almeida. Nikita Krylov versus Azamat Murzakhanov was also canceled, and that was it. But yeah, there was a decent amount of cancellations. This card, this upcoming card, we're gonna start off with the very first one. Veronica Hardy, 9-4, versus Eduarda Moura. I actually have Eduarda Moura going for the W. She recently lost to Diniz Gomez to a decision, but she has very good takedown defense. She is going to be the bigger girl, moving up a weight class at, I think she's going to be healthier at 125. She is Brazilian, so for those of you guys that don't know, I have Brazilians as like the top fighters, so I'll be a little bit biased. She's had some subs. She's had a KO before as well. So, or she hasn't been KO'd, but she's given a KO. So, while we have Veronica Hardy here on the other side, 9-4, she's a vet. She's, I believe, 37, 3-fight win streak. Lost to Malecki and Robertson, also to the ground. So she's been KO'd and subbed. 4-1 in her last 5, while Eduarda is 4-1 in her last 5 as well. She is the underdog, Eduarda Moura. I think it's actually going to be a good pick. She's going to get it done inside the distance. Next up, we're moving up to welterweight. We have Bassil Hafez versus Oban Elliott. For my pick, I'm going to have to go with Oban Elliott because he's coming from that Welsh cage warrior style. He's a little bit chinny, but his striking hasn't plateaued, and I think he's got good takedown defense. He's 5-0 in his last. He is also the -250 favorite to win it all. But I mean, he is going against an aggressive Bassil Hafez, 9-3. I thought he was super jacked when he first got into the UFC. He's kind of went downhill since then, but he still will, he's a good wrestler. He goes for takedowns when he's hurt. He went toe-to-toe with Gall, which I'm not super impressed with. He's got a good chin, but he leaves his chin out there, so he is chinny. He will have the power advantage, I believe, but I do believe Oban Elliott is improving each fight, and I think he will pull it off. Moving up, we have Gall. Gall's a ground specialist. He also started off in the UFC, basically kind of at the beginning of his career, and he was doing well. He got put against who was the first one? It was CM Punk, the first one, and just played around with him and basically backed him out of the UFC, and then went against the up and coming prospect Sage Northcutt, which was a really good. He was a really good prospect. If you guys don't know. He ended up moving over to one after, and then he had a crazy facial anyways, different story. We're gonna move on. But Gall, he's good off his back. He's just coming off a loss to Bassil Hafez, edged a decision. Slightly better boxing, I think. Experience is on his side against Ramiz Brahimaj. Okay, these names are going to be hard for me to say, but Ramiz Brahimaj. I did some research earlier today, and he's aggressive to get, and he's super aggressive to try and get things to the fence and try and basically wrap you up and take you down to the ground. I don't necessarily think he's that great of a striker. He got exposed by McGhee, so I think Gall, he's still. I mean, he's getting a little bit older, but he's not the best fighter there is, but I think Gall does have the potential, the veteran-esque on his side to still mitigate the ground game of Ramiz. And but the thing is, Ramiz on the ground, he's no slouch. He's not going to try and look to like lay and prey on you. But like I said, he got exposed by Court McGhee striking. So Mickey Gall, I'm going to have to say he's going to want to try and keep it striking for the most part. Or if not, if it comes down to the ground, I think still Mickey Gall still has the ground advantage. So I don't think it's going to be a finish, but it's going to go to the decision, -138 for Mickey Gall. Next up, we have Marcin Tybura versus Jhonata Diniz. I do have Diniz winning this one. I'm not super confident in Jhonata's. I'm not confident in his ground game whatsoever. His bottom half just doesn't seem to work when he's taken down. So that's the one thing I am worried about. But Tybura, he's been in the UFC for a long time, but you know, he's 39 years old. He's lost to better strikers. You know, he does have an opportunity to take it down to the ground, but you know, he is a sloppy wrestler. Like, his entries are really just kind of heavyweight barbaric, just run at you and just try and take you down to the fence, wrap things up, and then, you know, take you down from there. But you know, it's nothing fancy, but you know, he's Diniz, he's fought Carl Williams his last fight, and he outstruck him like basically 2 times, or times 2, and won the decision. And Carl Williams, he's a good wrestler. His entries I think are better than Tybura, so it might, I'm going to have to go with Diniz inside the distance, +110 underdog. So that's actually a good bet right there for you guys. Next up, see, I made some notes today, so we're actually prepared. But yeah, if you guys have any picks, or if you guys think, you know, it's going to go the other way or by a different outcome, feel free to let me know in the comments. Or, you know, if you like the comment or the content, feel free to hit that sub, and we'll be making videos basically weekly. I got some card ripping videos here pretty soon with the UFC trading cards, with some autographs, and yeah, it's gonna be some cool, some sick content coming through. So if you guys enjoy it, feel free to like it up. Anyways, we're gonna go over to the next one. Is the prelim startup. It's lightweight, Jim Miller versus Damon Jackson. I think even though Jim Miller is 41 years old, Damon Jackson's 36. I mean, I'm not like super pumped on Damon Jackson. It's kind of funny how his hair reverted back in time because he's got the hair plugs and everything now. But yeah, he seems to only win against lower tiered fighters, and I really don't think Jim Miller is that guy. I think he's getting kind of slept on. A lot of people are saying Damon Jackson's actually going to win this. But yeah, like, I mean, Jackson, he's known as the leech. He's good. Like, once he gets your back, he's no slouch. He's probably, but Jim Miller's also a black belt in BJJ, so he's an old school vet. I feel like Jim Miller's got better hands. I feel like Jim's got a chance to put Jackson away inside the distance. But like, Jim Miller's faced better strikers without getting knocked out, only tapped to elite grapplers, strikers. And I feel like, you know, Damon's a good grappler, but I feel like, I don't know. Jim's chin, it's still solid. Damon Jackson's worse than Bobby Green, which is Jim's last fight. So, I mean, Damon Jackson's moving up to 155. He might be healthier in this weight, but I still think Jim Miller's going to win. I mean, he's 37-18. He's going to be the first fighter to fight in all 3. You know, it's UFC 309, and he's been fighting all 300. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. His longevity is goated for a fighter, honestly. But anyways, we're going to move up to the next card. Middleweight, Chris Weidman versus Eryk Anders. I think they're going to be hopefully feeding Chris, you know, a fight here with Eryk Anders, 16-8, while Chris is 16-7. Chris is 40 years old, while Eryk is 37. And even though I don't really like Chris Weidman that much, I think he'll mix it up with the eye pokes and the takedowns, just like how he did with his last fight with Bruno Silva, I believe it was. But you know, Chris Weidman, he's been KO'd a lot. Eryk Anders has got some power, but his last KO was in 2022, and with Weidman's age, he won't. I don't think he'll KO him, honestly. So I think Chris Weidman's gonna mix it up. Plus 110 for Chris as actually an underdog. So, you know, it is kind of a little bit of a coin flip. So that's up to you guys. But I'm gonna have to go with Chris Weidman decision plus 110. Next up, we got the bantamweights, the quick guys. And this is actually going to be this is one of the more underrated fights I think is going to be on the card. McGhee versus Jonathan Martinez. Martinez is 19-5, while McGhee is 9-1. I've just honestly, I didn't really know much about McGhee until today. I watched some videotape and some highlights, and goddamn, he's super entertaining. I'm really pumped to see him fight. Super aggressive. He beat Timu Topuria. Basically, if you guys don't know who that is, it's Gaston Bolaños. That was a good fight. 3 back-to-back finishes. Mixes it up well. He's not just a striker. Throws in the kicks really good as well. So, I mean, but we're talking about Jonathan Martinez now too, and he's no slouch as well. Great kicks. He was on a run. I think it was a 6-fight win streak, and then he lost to Jose Aldo in Brazil. So, I mean, that was a decision. It's not like he got knocked out or anything like that. So he went toe-to-toe with him. He's a legend. And the Adrian Yanez fight, great leg kicks. That's how he took him out. Basically, I'm pretty sure you can see like the shin bone, and that's how it got finished. But yeah, a lot of his wins are in decisions, or there is the few KOs or TKOs. He's a solid fighter. But I think I'm gonna have to go with Marcus McGhee, just because I don't know. I feel like he'll be a fan favorite, especially if he gets this like fight too. Like this will bump him up. Like this will skyrocket his career for sure. So I think he's gonna get it done within the distance, minus 138. I think that's fairly reasonable. But also don't slouch on Jonathan Martinez. If there's any bets that come out or like live, feel free to check that out as well. I mean, it's kind of a coin flip as well. So we're going to go on to the next one. It's the main card. We're starting off with the late weights. I'm going to have a little sip here. I had a little smoke here before, and now I'm getting some pasty. So this is another fight I'm really, really, really pumped about. Mauricio Ruffy from Brazil. So again, I'm kind of biased, but he's like Brazilian Conor McGregor. The way he moves, like not Conor McGregor now, but like we're talking like primo Conor. The way he moves, very wide karate stance, just like the kicks, mixes it up really, really nicely. He's from the Fighting Nerds, so also one of my favorite teams as of recently this past year. A lot of great fighters coming from there. Easiest pick of the night, I gotta say, is Ruffy for sure. Fight's gonna be finished within the distance. I feel like this is one of these fights where James Llontop is the person he's going against, 14-4. I'm not gonna say much about him because I'm super biased about Ruffy. I'm sorry about this, but we're just gonna say Ruffy within the distance. I'm not worried at all. Ruffy's been KO'd before, but I believe that was like years ago, so we don't have to worry too much about that. I feel like Ruffy's going to be on the come up, so make sure to always put your bet on him. I'm betting on him for a while until the wheels fall off. So women's flyweight is the next one. We've got Viviane Araujo versus Karine Silva. I'm gonna have to go with Karine Silva. She's 18-4. 5-0 in her last 5. Viviane Araujo is 12-6, 2 out of her last 5. 2 wins out of her last 5, yeah. I still think Araujo, though, is the better, faster striker. She's more active on the feet. She's got a decent takedown defense at 78%. And the thing is, though, she's 37 years old, and that's usually the age where things start getting, they get a little iffy. So, Karine Silva, I think she mixes things up better. She gets a lot more takedowns. She's going to be, Araujo's definitely going to be tested when it comes to the takedowns because, she has an average of 3 point something. So she's going to be pushing the pace a lot. She's a lot younger as well. She's 30 years old. I think this is a bigger step up in competition for Silva, but I think she's going to get it done most likely in the distance, minus 240. So, a lot of people are leaning on that as well. So we're going to go on to the next one. Next up, we got the middleweights. Bo Nickal versus Paul Craig. This has potential for fireworks. I think, both guys are known for their ground game. Bo Nickal is a, fairly renowned wrestler. Didn't make it to the Olympic wrestler, but almost did. I was kind of disappointed with him versus Cody Brundage. To be honest, I thought it was going to be, and even though he did get a submission in the second round, I thought it was going to be more of a striking thing. I mean, but it didn't really end up happening. He's only thrown 23 strikes in 6 fights, so he's going to take it down to the ground at some point. But I don't think his striking is that good, but Paul Craig is no slouch either when it comes to the ground. He's the king of upsets. He's got mid striking, honestly. Most likely he's going to be on his back at some point. He's the biggest underdog of all time. Took out Jamal Hill and Ankalaev, which is hilarious because they're like, top of the food chain. But I don't know. He's one of those guys that will get beat up for the first 2 rounds, and then the last 10 seconds of the third round, he'll pull up and random submission. So, Bo Nickal is the favorite, minus 975. So, I'm gonna have to go with Bo Nickal. I think they're gonna try and. I said this last time with Bo Nickal fighting, but I thought they're gonna be, striking a little bit more. But at some point, Bo Nickal is gonna have to be, practicing that striking, because at some point there's gonna be somebody that's really good at takedown defense and is gonna be able to stop him. So, I just think, Paul Craig is a good example for, Bo Nickal to just try and work on that stand up, and if it doesn't work out, then obviously it's going to go down to the ground, and then it's going to be all Bo Nickal basically on top. So we'll see how it goes. I know Bo's probably going to get the W, so minus 975 is, you're not going to make too much money on it. So, but that's easy lock in for a parlay. Next up, we've got Charles Oliveira, Michael Chandler. Got one more box here to open. I already opened another one earlier this week, and I got a video that's going to be coming out most likely the day after this video comes out, so stay tuned. But if I get a Charles Oliveira autograph signature card, I'm going to lose my mind. I don't want to reveal who I got with my first box. You guys will have to check that video out, but it's an OG, and I'm actually really pumped about who I got. So, Charles Oliveira, man. I mean, he's won 3 out of his last 5. Michael Chandler, 2 out of his last 5. Their both records are, they're no slouches. 34-10 for Charles Oliveira. Michael Chandler, 23-8. Michael Chandler's explosive. He's a wrestler. He's had 2 years off, though. That's the only thing. So, ring rust, I don't know how that's gonna go. But I've seen videos, and he's definitely in shape. Charles Oliveira, though, I mean, I'm always gonna be on the the olive train. So he's another person. He's on my Mount Rushmore. So he's always gonna be a lock for me, man. I think it's gonna be either striking or on the ground. Either way, he's gonna get a submission or a knockout. It's going to be a firework fight. Definitely got to stay tuned for that one. But you never know. Their first fight, it went back and forth within 2 rounds. So this is fight number 2. We'll see what kind of adjustments they make. And like I said, I mean, I think Charles is going to get it, man. Another Brazilian fighter, man. Next up, and last up, we got the heavyweights. We got Jon Jones, 27-1, 5-0 in his last. Stipe Miocic, the heavyweight GOAT, 20-4. Some say Jones is the GOAT of all time. Some say it's questionable. I definitely know he's got some accolades up there. If he took out Tom Aspinall, I would definitely say he is the GOAT. But I know he's kind of ducking that right now as of today. I don't know if this is a publicity thing, that he just wants more money maybe eventually to fight Tom, but he's looking to possibly vacate the title if he wins against Stipe, and he's going to go down to fight Alex Pereira in light heavyweight. So some say he's ducking Tom. Some say Jones is pushing for legacy. So, as we all know, Pereira is fighter of 2024. So, anyways, I think Stipe, he's taken a 4-year layoff. He's got a great chin, but we don't know. He's like, how old is he now? He's like older than dust. But then again, do not judge the heavyweight GOAT. He's got the most title defenses. He's got sharp hands, great takedown defense, and if Jon Jones can't take him down to the ground, even though he's got that reach, like, he's a lot slower. The cardio, is that going to match up to what Stipe is used to doing? Like, Stipe and Jones, like, they're like, this is like potential for some major fireworks, but I'm leaning towards the underdog pick with Stipe, honestly. I know a lot of, like, basically a lot of odds are saying that Jones has the potential to get this, but I mean, with the cardio that I've seen, and he said in the embedded that his cardio just hasn't been holding up at this weight. So I'm curious on how it's going to go, but I think Stipe is going to get it done, even though at the old age. Don't judge a heavyweight at his age. He's still going to have that speed. He's still working as a full-time fireman too. I think he just did a 24-hour shift like 4 days ago. So, like, dude's just crazy. Like, he's definitely in shape. I've seen some videos. He's looking sharp. It's going to be good. It's going to be fireworks. Stipe inside the distance. I don't know if it's got a... Could you imagine that? A knockout. Stipe gets Jones just knocked out. Just totally ruins the legacy. Everyone's just going to lose it. I'm going to lose it more than when Nate Diaz took out Conor McGregor, like, way back when. But anyways, what do you guys think? You guys have anything that, any differences of my picks or anything like that? Feel free to let me know in the comments. We'll be doing this every card. And like I said, we do some card rips. And we'll be doing some, just some random fun, like, tier makers and just random, topics that we can go over for fighters and all that fun stuff. So if you guys enjoy the content, feel free to share it with a friend or anything like that. And have a good one. Feel free to check out the recent videos too. Peace.